Hi everyone, this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a video where I swatch and review some items from Revlon, and then I also apply and wear test some other items from Revlon, which is why it's called a double feature. So we're gonna look at two different sets of products, both from Revlon, but not in the same collection or categories. The two things we'll look at are first a new liquid highlighter from Revlon, and the second thing we will look at are the kind of new, not as new, but still kind of new Candid Photo Ready line. We are going to apply and wear test not only the foundation, but also the new concealer and new loose setting powder. So if you're interested in either one of those things, stay tuned. I will put timestamps in the description box below so you can skip around if you want to. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel by hitting that red subscribe button to be eligible for upcoming giveaways and for notifications when I post new videos. And make sure you follow Allura Beauty on Instagram. The handle is in the description box below. A giveaway will be run on there shortly also. The description box will also have links to all of these products and where you can find them to purchase, as well as a link to Ebates so that if you do make any online purchases, whether or not it's associated with this video, you can get some cash back. If you haven't checked out my two videos swatching and comparing the new Naked Reloaded palette, one of them is comparing it to the original Naked palette, and the most recent one is comparing it to Anastasia's Sultry palette, which kind of surprised me. So if you haven't checked out either of those videos, especially the most recent Sultry one, I will link that in the upper right hand corner for you to check out. All right, let's get looking at these new Revlon products. So let's first take a look at the Revlon Color Stay Endless Glow Liquid Highlighters. What's interesting about this new product from Revlon is that the only place I can actually find it is through Target. So like I said, I will link specifically to where you can find it in the description box below. It's not available, at least not yet, through places like Ulta, and I have not seen them in stores at my local brick and mortar stores. So on Target, they retail for $10.99 each, and they come in 5 different shades. The description by Revlon says that these are a creamy, blendable formula with specially treated pearls that give instant, intense highlights. The full pigmented formula gives a crystal glow that lasts all day. It effortlessly blends into skin and can be applied either over or under your other Color Stay makeup products. So I will swatch these for you, and then when I go to the second part of this video where we apply the Revlon Photo Ready Candid face products, I will apply 1 or 2 of the shades to my face to show you how they look actually on the face and applied to the skin. So here is shade 001 Citrine. Shade 2 is Rose Quartz. 3 is Gold. 4 is Opal. And 5 is Topaz. And before swatches, let's look at the packaging. These come in, they feel like glass. Let's open it up and see if I can confirm. I think it's plastic. They feel almost like glass, but now that I take a closer look at it, I think it's just, very nice plastic. And they come with really large, oversized, slightly dipped or curved doe foot applicators. So I'm gonna show you swatches before I blend them out, and then I'll leave space between them to try to blend them out after. So shade 1 is Citrine. Shade 2 is Rose Quartz. Shade 3 is Gold. Shade 4 is Opal. And shade 5 is Topaz. Okay, so there's what you got with just the concentrated swatches. Obviously, you're not going to leave it like this on the face, but just to show you the finish and the color, look very pretty. So we'll start by smoothing out or blending out shade 1, which is Citrine. This is like a really pale cream champagne. 2 Rose Quartz is a medium rose pink. This has silver shimmer, whereas Citrine has a golden sheen. 3 is Gold. which is, I would say, like on the paler side of gold. 4 is Opal. This is an interesting shade. It's a white with a pink shift. And 5 is Topaz. This is kind of like a really soft, it's not a copper, it's not that yellow toned, so I guess it's more of like a bronze shade. I'm going to add a little bit more opal to this side. I think part of it might have been it drying down. So I'm going to blend that right away. Okay, so there are your 5 liquid highlighting shades. Of course, even with this kind of blending, this is more concentrated than what you would use on your face, but the formula does blend out pretty nicely. You're getting a formula that holds its concentration even with blending. You get a good differentiation of color. And of course, theoretically, you could also use these on the eyes if you wanted to, and then you would get a more concentrated layer of color closer to what you're seeing here. All right, now let's get to doing a full face makeup with the new, or kind of new, Revlon Candid Photo Ready line. So the foundation came out first, I believe, and then more recently they have released the concealer and I believe the setting powder. So we're gonna use all 3 of these. Now, actually, I did months ago when, actually before this Revlon Candid foundation even technically released in stores, I did a application and review and wear test of this. So I will link that in the upper right hand corner for you to view. And Revlon was kind enough to actually send these over for testing. So what I am very curious about is how it wears and what I'm going to think of it with the few differences that there are now between when I did the first review. Those differences mainly are when I did that review, the shade was different. So I had the shade in that video 200 Nude. And then now, that was back in September, so now it's very cold. My skin has a lot more issues with dryness, whereas back in September, it was still quite warm. It was, I think, just the beginning of fall, and so it was hot. My skin was more oily. I definitely didn't have any issues at that time with dryness. So I am curious to see how my more dry skin is going to wear this foundation and what I think of it. And with the new shade, I don't know that it'll be that different. It looks pretty close. And then in addition, I have not ever tried out the concealer. In fact, it's still in its packaging, and the setting powder. So let's get to it. We'll start first with the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Anti-Pollution Foundation, and it says it has a natural finish. So you can find these Revlon products at any of your drugstores. You can find it through Target or through Ulta. The foundation will retail somewhere between $9 and $11. Looks like it comes in over 30 shades, which is good. And the description of this says that it's an anti-pollution foundation. It's skincare inspired. It's meant to be ultra blendable, ultra buildable, infused with antioxidants, anti-pollution, and anti-blue light ingredients. And I talk about those things in the previous video also. This time I'm actually going to apply the foundation a little differently. I am going to use this product that SpaSciences sent over. It is a application brush. It's called the Antimicrobial Sonic Makeup Brush, and what this is it is a wireless rechargeable basically foundation brush. It says you can use it with any cream / liquid products and with powder products. So here it is just out of the box. So you can see it's a detachable brush that you can detach to easily wash and reuse. You can also purchase the brush head by itself if after a year or whatever you want to replace it. The brush head only costs $10. The whole system together costs $39. It comes with a rechargeable cord, and you purchase it through SpaSciences. I'll put a link in the description box below. So you turn it on, and there's actually 3 different speeds that increase. So this is the first one. Second one is more quick. and the last one is the quickest setting that you have. And the brush head is antimicrobial to fight off the buildup of bacteria. And of course, the purpose of the vibration is to really quickly buff in the product and to create a much smoother surface, because the brush head is going to move a lot faster than you could ever manually move your hand in order to buff in a product. So this is a very affordable option. You know that there are other options out on the market that are much more expensive, even with the brush heads, especially with replacing them, it gets very expensive very quickly. So this is a much more affordable option. Let's see how it works. We're gonna take our 250 shade Candid foundation from Revlon. I'm gonna apply one full pump. I'm gonna take the lowest setting to start and start buffing it in. You know what's really weird? If you look at my first video, when I applied, I can't remember if I used 1 or 2 pumps or how much product I used, but immediately what I notice is the much more intense level of coverage. You can see in that video where I say this is a light coverage foundation and at most a medium coverage foundation, but let's finish buffing it in, but I'm getting a lot more coverage by using this brush than I did when I was manually buffing in with my flat kabuki style elf brush. It does look really smooth on the skin. Now, one difference is how much ever product I used in the first video, I think I buffed it all across the face, so I didn't do just half. So that might also account for why I'm getting more coverage on this side. I can't really remember in that old video, but we'll go ahead and do another pump on this side. But it does have, with this buffing brush, it does have a really nice smooth finish. And I would say it's kind of medium coverage at this point. Hopefully you can see a difference between this side and this side where there is no foundation yet. All right, one more pump and we'll finish up the face. Okay, so without anything else on, here is the foundation and what it looks like after using it with the, did I say what this is? This is the Echo brush, the antimicrobial sonic makeup brush called the Echo. It says that right there on the, I don't think I said that at the very beginning, but in any case, this is what the foundation looks like. Yes, I would say definitely medium, a little bit on the lighter side of medium maybe, but definitely a noticeable coverage. It has a very soft and smooth finish to the skin, and again, a very natural finish also. It is not super matte and it is not oily or shiny. So there is what my skin looks like with nothing else applied except for foundation. Let's go in and cover up some of these spots and blemishes in the under eye area. If you watched some of my previous videos, I forgot to mention in them when I did application that I scratched myself under this eye and it left a very noticeable scratch, like a scab there. And I know I forget which video it was, but it was just very noticeable and strange looking, and I never mentioned what it was. No one commented about it, so I guess it wasn't too strange, but there is still a light scarring here underneath this eye that I'm really hoping will not be permanent, but we're gonna try to cover all of that stuff up with the Candid Photo Ready Antioxidant Concealer. Now, they sent over the shade 001 Banana, and this will retail for, it looks like, between $8 and $10-ish. Comes in 15 different shades, and it says, again, it's a skincare inspired concealer that's supposed to be ultra blendable, buildable, and infused with antioxidant and anti-pollution ingredients. It actually says there's 18 shades. I only see 15 on Ulta, but I assume that there are actually more available in the line based on the description from Revlon. So let's see. Oh, it comes with a squeeze tube, and wow, this is a very interesting looking doe foot applicator that's curved and shaped like this. And it seems pretty light. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's super light. And it is very distinctly orange toned, which is I've never used something so orange toned before, but this is the lightest it looks like shade in the line. Let's see if this will work or if I'll have to supplement with other concealers. I'm not going to use it on the blemishes on the skin now that I see what the color looks like, because obviously it's not really going to match, but it might help a little bit with the redness and correcting underneath my eyes. And I am going to blend in with the same Echo brush here. I did brush it off on a towel to remove most of that foundation that we already applied. And then I'm going to tap in with my skin to really push it into my under eye area. Okay, so there is the concealer applied. I actually think that this color not being the right match for me, so I wouldn't use it alone as an under eye concealer, but actually I think I'm gonna keep this to use as a brightener, because I don't think that the coverage I would say is light to medium coverage. I'm gonna supplement with another concealer on top, but it definitely brightens the under eye area, and just like with the foundation, it has a very natural finish on the skin, so it really just sinks into the skin and seems to become one with it. It doesn't look crepey or creasy or emphasize fine lines or anything like that. And like I mentioned earlier, I do have problems in the last couple of months with this under eye area looking pretty dry and crepey. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I really like this formula here. And I wonder if in the future I'll put this on underneath. You know how most people put on the concealer and then they might put on a brightener on top? But the formula for the Revlon one sinks into the skin so seamlessly that I kind of am thinking maybe I will use it underneath before I apply my regular concealer. And before we finish off by using the Candid setting powder, let's go back to the Color Stay Endless Glow liquid highlighters that we swatched and see how they apply. I'm gonna do that crazy thing where I do one on one cheek and one on the other. I'm gonna do number 1 Citrine and number 2 Rose Quartz because they're very different colors. So on this side, let's put 001 Citrine. Because it's a liquid product, that's why I'm putting it on underneath the powder. Yeah, so this is definitely a strong product. You'll very quickly get pigment out of it. Let's use a duo fibered brush to buff this in. I think you kind of have to work quickly. It's kind of bunching up, even though I didn't give it a lot of time to dry. At least with this shade, I'm not getting a super smooth finish. Yeah, it's kind of sticking just as a streak there. I'm gonna go back to trying to use my finger to immediately blend it into the skin. Okay, I'm gonna leave Citrine like that. I'm not gonna try to build it up anymore because I feel like the more product I try to put in there and blend, the patchier it's getting. Let's see if Rose Quartz applies any differently. I like this formula a lot better. It's blending a lot more smoothly and I can layer it without it getting too patchy. Alright, that's what Rose Quartz looks like. And let's go ahead and actually take 04 Opal. I'm going to put that on the Cupid's bow, maybe a little bit on tip of the nose. Maybe a little bit under the brow bone. And actually, since I mentioned that you may be able to use some of these on the eyes in a more concentrated manner, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take 05 Topaz, and to stay consistent with kind of the Revlon Photo Ready Candid theme, which is a much more natural look and finish, I'll keep the eyes very simple and just use this shade on the lid. Oh, wow. I really like that. I really was not expecting to use this as an eye product, but the shade Topaz on the lids is beautiful, and I suspect that the other shades will look really pretty too. Okay, so you could definitely build these up more if you wanted, but there's like a medium layer of it there. All right, so I finished up with a very simple eye look. So let's move on to setting the face with the Photo Ready Candid powder. Again, retailing between about $9 and probably $10. It says that this is a loose setting powder infused with antioxidants and anti-pollution ingredients. Lightweight airbrushed finish for a blurring effect with 2 universal shades. Oh, I didn't realize that. So it is supposed to be non-whitening and non-chalky. And I don't know what the other shade is. Ulta only has one of them, but this says it's the 001 shade. I'm assuming it's a translucent color, and I'm going to bet that the other shade is a darker shade. And something that is very cool about this packaging, it comes in a plastic jar with a twist off lid. And at first you think, oh, it's a sifter, but actually it has a pop-up lid, which I really like because it helps to keep it a little less messy. So you open up the lid like this, and there is a sifter underneath the lid. So I'm going to take a clean kabuki brush, pick up the product. Okay, so this is the side I have placed the powder over, and hopefully you can see the difference between the mattified side and this side. Now this side isn't really shiny yet, but you still can see hopefully a difference. And in terms of the finish, yeah, I don't really detect anything. It's a very seamless powder. It's not cakey or chalky. So here's up close. Hopefully you can see that it's not super powdery or cakey on the skin compared to just bare skin or non-powdered foundation skin. Okay, I am very happy with the finish. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up with powder contouring, bronzing, putting blush on, lips, and what are they called? Eyebrows. And then I will show you the finished look, and we'll go on to checking in later on in the day. All right, here is the finished look for today. I really enjoy the way that my skin looks. I feel like it looks much smoother than it normally does. So I wasn't really expecting to be very impressed by this powder. It's actually very simply formulated. It doesn't have that many ingredients in it. I think fewer than 10. But in any case, you will know if you watched my prior video that one of the things that happened when I first tested it back in September was that there's definitely shininess that showed through. So I am very curious to see in this video with this test, now that it is very cold out and my skin, I still have combination skin, but where it's more cold and I am overall a little more dry skinned, how this foundation performs and wears throughout the day too. So I will check back in with you and we will see how it goes. All right, so here we are. This is about 3.5 hours of wear, nothing touched up, nothing changed. So you can see, kind of similar to the original wear test that I did, there is a little bit of shininess showing through. I wouldn't say as much as with the wear test I did back in September, but again, I think that's probably mostly because of the weather change, my skin being a little more naturally oily. So at the end of the day, I think the consensus is on most parts the same with the foundation as with the opinions that I had in September. This is a foundation that has a very beautiful finish when it comes to looking super natural on the skin. I guess the con on that is that you're not going to get super high coverage on this. At most, I would say medium coverage, light to medium, but it looks extremely flawless on the skin. The powder is something that I was more impressed by than I expected to be initially. It, as you can see, is not going to be super oil controlling, but in terms of a finish, it does very much help the skin just look seamless, natural, and set without having any sort of detection that there's a layer of powder on your skin, which is beautiful. The concealer, I similarly am really enjoying. I don't know that I can, well, I guess I can speak to the formulation because it has set very nicely. There is no creasing on the concealer. Even though I applied another concealer from Maybelline on top, what I have noticed, and is very nice, is that I don't have the same level of crepiness that I would typically have. So this formula from Revlon seems to really become one with the skin, more so than, you know, many of my other concealers that I use for underneath the eye. So that's a huge plus. The specific 001 Banana shade helps to brighten my under eye area, and this formula seems to really be skin-like in the sense that it is, again, not sitting on top of my skin, not emphasizing any sort of dryness or fine lines that I have there underneath the eyes. So overall, I do think that these are very lovely products. They are in the $9 to $11 range, so I think that's very fair for a drugstore. It's not too high. It's not super inexpensive like you would get with, say, Wet n Wild or something like that. The highlighters, I think that these make beautiful shimmering lid colors. So I actually intend to use them mostly for that purpose. Maybe once we get into summer, I'll transition into using them more on the face, but they're not creasing. They're not super impactful, so they aren't like some other liquid eyeshadows where they're super pigmented, right? Because they're intended to be highlighters, not really on the eyes. But if you want more of a natural and seamless look on the eyes, that's the way I like them best after trying them out in this video. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Tell me about your experiences with the Photo Ready Candid line, if you like it, if you don't like it. If you've tried this, especially in a darker shade, whether you agree with my opinions on the formulation and the wear, because I'm curious to know if the other shades in the line hold up as a concealer. I wouldn't say this is a full coverage concealer, but if you want something very natural looking with a little bit of coverage, I think this will definitely do the trick. And have you seen the Endless Glow liquid highlighters anywhere? Because I haven't seen them, but if you have, tell me which store you have seen them in. And if you haven't, then you should check out Target online to purchase them. All right, I will see you in the next video. Make sure you stay tuned for them. Bye.